Hi guys, it's Simon with toughtrader.com and Trade and Perform Coaching. Wanted to do a trade review and a coaching session for today. It was Wednesday. It's the 10th of January. My best day of the year, hands down. Had multiple winners, one trading loser. But I wanted to go through and get back to the way I used to do the videos where we kind of presented, well, how did the zones actually work? What trades did I actually take in the room? Right? And what can we learn from the day? Most importantly, right? As traders, we constantly have to stay in a learning mode. What can we learn from this day that'll help us go forward? So before we get started, a couple things. First of all, past performance is not indicative of future results. Number two, everyone loses money. You're trading with someone who isn't losing money or claims to never lose money. Hit the fire exit and run. Everyone who trades loses money. Just how the deal works. Markets are unpredictable to a large degree. Okay, we're just trading odds. That's it. Number three, right? This is for educational purposes only. I'm sharing my trade plan with you in hopes that it'll make you a better trader. So let's jump into it. Number one thing I want to do is go through and look at the zones. I work hard at the zones, and I want people to see where the opportunities are coming from in the zones, whether I'm calling them out in the room or not, or whether I'm taking them in the room or not. They're valuable, excuse me, because they give you good trade locations. So let's cover all three charts real quick on the zones, the white zones in particular, right? So I wrote in the notes last night, I wrote this whole area's value this whole area is valid. This area was valid. This is on the NQ chart, right? So let's just look at this. First touch, that's all we're concerned about. First touch in the morning, rejected out of 56.61, traded right in. This had the potential reward from 56.66 all the way down to 63.36, right? You'll see from 63.47, right? First touch came right to the tick, and it gave you another response all the way back up to 64.66, and then you'll see the back of the zone also held for a beautiful reversal where eventually all the way back to 64.70. So trade location mattered, and on NQ, first touch of the zones obviously worked very, very nicely. On ES, this was a white zone. This yellow zone was a white zone yesterday. It was almost tested, so it was downgraded to a yellow zone. All that means is the white zone has the highest odds of working. Yellow zone has the second highest odds of working. So let's see how that worked out today, because and the goal or the measure as to whether the zone worked is whether you were able to achieve 2 points or not. So you'll see out of the gate here, we opened up, and I'm going to spend very little time because I post these charts every day to the members, and they can see whether the zones are working or not very clearly. I'll start posting them back on my old blog on a daily basis so someone can review the charts. But you will see out of the gate, one, push into the yellow zone, rejection out. Did it get 2 points? It did. Pushed into the next yellow zone at 27.42. It did. It went zone to zone, went 46, 42 and a quarter, and we can see the best rotation out of that before we flushed the zone was from 42 and a quarter all the way back up to 45, 3 points, right? So they both garnered you 2 points out of each zone. The day was successful from that point. We really had and if you look at ES, right, you look how this day came across, we really balanced through the course of the day. This morning, before I came into or on my way to work, I dropped a few notes to the members. I want to show you this really quick because it's important. And I put, let's see here. Maybe I didn't. I was on the way, and maybe I am not. Maybe I thought I put it, and I just said it, and I did not put it in. Hold on, I'll tell you really quick. I am wrong, but what I was, I guess I sent a message to one of the members, but what I was expecting was a V-shape recovery today, and I said very, very carefully, do not get bearish in the hole today. Do not get bearish. Let's cover the reason real quick why I didn't want to get bearish on any of these because it matters. Then we'll cover the actual, well, let's do it the other way. Let's cover the trade executions real quick, and we'll go from there. And these are the best of my memory. They were all in NQ today. Once again, the trades I did not take were more valuable than the trades I did take. This, and I'm not going to go in, you'll see on the private Twitter feed here where I've actually listed out, let's see here. I think this is my second trade that I lifted out because my first trade of the day was long. You'll see as I went through the day, I do post up the trades the majority of the time. I left the first trade out. The first trade was a long side trade this morning, and it was long right here. Again, this is from member review. It was either, I believe it was here or here, one of the two. I forget where I got long. Excuse me, right in here. Oh, I can't draw. It is in snap mode. Let's fix this. I love you, TradeStation. I swear. There we go. We'll get out of it. So let's do this. Remove drawing objects. Let's get rid of the ellipses, and let's get rid of the rectangles. Okay, there we go. So on NQ, the first long was right in this area. I know we pretty much nailed it. We were waiting for it. Someone asked me, well, why didn't you just take the white zone right out of the gate? And that is a very reasonable question and a very good question. The reason we didn't is because one of the things I strive for is we want to find, I have indicators that tell me based on volume where the last best seller was here. And there was a few problems here, and I want to be clear. Number one, this was our last best seller, okay? The problem was the stop. If you waited to get above this seller, your stop was enormous, right? So we shifted. This ended up being our next last best seller. This was our long area where we wanted to press into. This retested the white zone at 47 to 42. We took it long. And actually, I'll take it back because that was worth 20 points. Now I've got my memory just came back to me. At the end of the day, you get tired. So entered that trade at approximately 64.45, if my memory serves me correctly. We scaled 64.55, then 66.55, then 66.62 was the next scale up here. So we scaled here, then we scaled here, right? And I moved my stop up, and I believe on the small trailer I got it taken out when it came back over here. But all of the trade was profitable, and it was a very nice trade. The next trade that we took back to the downside, and again, this was posted in the members room, was we shorted this test back up right in here, right? And we covered right back down in here. It was pretty much, it was a 10-point trade. We shorted right against that 66.62, 66.63, and we covered into 66.65. And did so successfully. It was a nice trade, and we actually flipped and then went long right against that into the 66. Let me check on this. I take it back. We did it both ways. I'm going into lunch. We flipped this long yet again at 66.50 right here. And we exited again over here. And then we had one more trade where we pulled back against the long right in here. And we took one more long with a push back up. We took 5 points. Those are the series of winning trades for today on NQ. They were all on NQ, and it was all really quite a glorious day. It was all very profitable. Here's where the losing trade came in. Okay, so remember what the objective is. There's two things. I know those white zones are key support resistance areas, and I expect the market to play and rotate between those two areas and give me trading opportunities. Okay, so what does this do for me? I want to slow the pace down, especially for new people that are learning. I have zones that I know are important areas, but zones by themselves mean nothing. Sometimes they get blown up, sometimes they don't, right? What I want to do is I want to understand where the buyers and sellers are coming in. I'm using Delta to do that, right? I'm using a Delta chart that looks somewhat like this. Here, I'll show you on my other computer. All this over. Because there's no great secrets. If it'll let me haul it over, maybe it won't let me. Let's see, there we go. Here we are. So this is from my other computer screen. I'm using Join Me to flip in between. So I'm using up-down volume ratios, and I am also using Market Delta to find the best buyers and sellers within there, and I'm using a range bar, 6.25 range bar. So it gives me a different perspective than just a bar by time. This is giving me more it's giving me a volume by, it's giving me a chart that's based on execution and delta as opposed to just simply the number of executions that go off in a squared off block of time, right? And I'm looking for my buyers and sellers in those areas. Okay, so why is that important? Why is all of this important? This is important because it's giving me multiple a multiple view of what's going on in the market, different angles from which to look at the market. I know that I should find support resistance areas in here. And now I'm using those delta charts and my volume reads to get confirmation that, yes, I want to be long, that yes, I had a, what this tells me when I'm looking at the market, right? If I just told everyone, hey, here's where so long story short, here's where I made money. I tried to attempt to get this push to the downside, built in right when I came back from lunch, right in here. I shorted at 66.62, and I got stopped out at 66.68, right in here on this break to the high. What was I trying to get accomplished? I was trying to get this break to the downside. I ended up getting stopped in here when we pushed to a new high for the day. And there's an important lesson there that I'm going to cover there in a second. But the point is, so that was my losing day. It was still massively winning day from all the trades that I had earlier in the morning. But the point behind that is what this does, my structure and the way that I run the room and the way that I trade in the room, I know where the support resistance areas are. Now I'm looking for market structure, market delta, and volume to confirm my entries and exits, and I'm not just buying into outer space. Do I still take stops sometimes, or do I still have losing trades? Of course. You'd be a moron if you said, hey, I never lose money. Everyone loses money. Was I profitable on the day and very nicely profitable? Absolutely, right? So I want to talk about this for a second. Part of my entry exit method requires that I get a backside test. You will very rarely see me, as I did before, and I changed this specifically in the way I execute. I changed this to lower my stress levels, right? And not only that, but it became a method for me to improve my discipline and my structure. So I want to talk about my losing trade instead of my winning trade, right? Most people want to talk about their winning trades. I want to talk about my losing trade for a second. This was the most important part of my day. Let me tell you why. If you're like me and most traders, what happens is when you have a trade that goes against you, you get emotionally frustrated and you start taking trades that maybe aren't quite on plan, or they're close, but they're not quite there. And you just get angrier and angrier and more frustrated. And you wonder, well, how the hell did I turn a good day into a losing day? What happened, right? Now, I will tell you right now, I was pissed. You can ask anyone in the room. There's plenty of members. You want to find out or ask their, whether it's legit, send a message out on StockTwits or Twitter for a member of my room and ask them, did I get upset here? Damn straight I got upset here. My first losing trade of the day, right? And I got stopped right at the beginning of this bar right here. And I saw the reversal coming here, and I wanted to immediately reshort. But let me tell you what would have happened in reality. When I got stopped here, I wanted to short again. I knew we were in the backside of this white zone. I would have gotten stopped a second time, because let me tell you what happens to your mentality. This probably speaks to a lot of you out there. You go, well, I want to take the short again, and I know I got stopped, but I'm going to short, and I'm going to enter, and I'm going to keep it with a tight stop, right? And so instead of just taking one stop here, which was relatively small, I think, let me go back in here and look through the chain. There you go. Stop. That was, we can look at the time on this exactly, but I posted this. That is California time, so it's 12:52. Stop, 66.68 minus 7.5 points. Okay, it was pretty much a small stop, totally reasonable, right? And that was right. You can see right here, 12:48, right at the beginning of this bar, right? I was pissed, right? But had I turned around and shorted again, let me tell you, there's no way I would have survived another trade from 66.68 to approximately 66.75. I would have stopped it again, and I would have doubled that loss, right? Now, let me take you all the way back around to the other side of this coin, right? Which was, then you watch it come all the way down, right? And that can be really, really frustrating as a trader. Now, I knew this was short, and I laid into a short here at 66.66, but the market was trading. Yeah, let's get a little circle. The market was trading here, and I wanted to re-enter a short right here. Right now, imagine you see that it's about to roll down. You have a pretty good idea emotionally that it's going to roll down, and you don't get your entry. This will make you twice as mad. No, what this did was gave me time to go, where's my process? Where's my process? Now, I did not get the long down here, even though I pointed out that this was a 50-60 retrace. I'm talking about right here. Okay. And then on ES, even though I got my entry, I did not take the backside test, which I put in my notes for next time. I'll show you that in a second. That was a trade that I missed that I should have gotten, right? But then what I did do is I said, hey, this 66.66 is still valid, 66.65, and I was short right over here. Now, did I hit a home run? No, I had the potential to. We backside tested the exact area, which was my last best seller. I backside tested that 66.65, and you will see that I was able to scale out at 66.60. And the way I actually handled this trade was pretty interesting. I had a 4-point stop on this trade. So what I did is when I got to 66.61, I think, actually 66.60 or 66.61, I took the scale, covered half, and that paid for the trade. When I saw that we really couldn't make any more further progress to the downside, I simply moved the stop to break even, and that really made my day. I think actually I take it back. I took one more scale. I think at I'm gonna have to go back through the chain, but I think I took one more scale at 66.57. Either way, doesn't matter, right? The point is that instead of going off plan, okay, so I can't explain because you'd say, well, Simon, you wanted to short and this was like a 20-point rip down. No, I had no idea at this point when I emotionally wanted to short again whether the market was just going to come up here and go straight to 66.80. No idea. All I knew is that emotionally, I wasn't pissed that the market was going up, right? I got pissed that I got stopped, and I wasn't upset that the market was going down. I was pissed that I was stopped. That's all. I wanted to trade without risk. Everyone wants to do that, right? So what this allowed me to do, this process allowed me to do, is get right back into process almost immediately, right? And I talked about this in the room. I'm going to short where my program and my process require me to, or I'm going to go long where my process require me to. Now, let me show you the worst trade I didn't take of the day that I should have taken, right? I want to show you that too, because I'm more concerned with getting better about where I did poorly today so I can be better tomorrow. I already know what I did well. I followed my process. I identified key areas. I took my entries as needed, and I ended up with a profitable trading day. That is normal math. That puts me in positive P&L territory almost every day, and it worked again today. That wasn't a problem. Here was my worst trade of the day. I'm going to go with it. And it was on ES. I pointed it out in the room in real time, guys. And I certainly wish if I could have gotten a do-over again, I certainly wish that they would have let me have a do-over. And that was right here. I don't know that I would have held it, but I sure had it at a sweet spot. This was a 50-60 retrace right here. Here, I can draw this out again. So at this point, let's just duplicate the chart, because all that matters here was that this was a 50-60 retrace. Remove drawing objects, select all. We'll just get rid of all the notes in there. Okay, so all that matters here was that this was a retest of VWAP and a 50-60 retrace almost. Okay, so here's the things that were negative about this push down, and here's the things that were positive about this push down. Okay, so on the positive side of the ledger, this was only a 50-60 retrace. On the negative side, taking a long straight into this, you'll notice the market was pretty mechanical. We missed filling the gap. The gap fill is up here at 27.5250. That's not Dalton's gap. We did close Dalton's gap, I believe, back over here. This is Dalton's gap. You'll see that 27.4975. That's Dalton's gap. You'll see we came into it and rejected right off of it. This is the market fill where a lot of people refer to the gap fill. So what you'll see is we just had slow, steady buyers all the way up. And what spooked me here was that out of nowhere, where we couldn't get any counter rotation, all of a sudden we get an expansion in range. To my coaching clients who go, I didn't recognize that the range had expanded and I got run over. This is an expansion when we're really quiet and the trading is really tight, and all of a sudden it opens up really wide like that. That is an expansion in range, so that if you go, hey, I didn't recognize it, the 5-minute bar size increased, it got directional. We couldn't put a green bar in for almost 30 minutes straight down, right? In this situation, even if I have a 50-60 retrace and I understand the 50-60 retrace held, I still want to see us get above our best last seller. In this case, it was very, very easy. This bar right here This was our best last seller, both in delta and in volume. Super easy to read. And so that brings up a lot of thought processes. First of all, this was the heaviest delta and the heaviest sell volume, and it couldn't get below the prior 2 bars in front of it. Big sign, big tip off, right? I pointed out in the room right here, I said I really should be long after this close right here. I should be long this backside test into this bar. I did not do it. It was worth almost 2 points immediately. And the stop would have been right below the low. You can see this is a very low risk trade, right? I'm simply entering right here at approximately 27.40. I'm entering at 27.46-ish. My stop was roughly 24.44, 2 points, and it rolled all the way up to 27.50. It was just a beautiful trade. It was a great risk reward. I did not take the trade. I really don't know if this pushback would have spooked me or not, but if I stayed to process here, I would have tacked on another 4 points in trade, and I elected not to take the trade. What I did was instead, some part of me, and I still need to examine it in my journal, what I said instead was I was going to come over here to NQ, and I was going to take this short, and I did, and I still got paid, and that was nice. But I had the trade, and I should have nailed that to the long side. I should have had both of those trades. Long story short, improvement for tomorrow. I can do that. One last piece before I go, guys, and that is on Russell, my Russell traders. Randy did fantastic today. I want to show you this here. Okay, we open up into the white zone. See this right here? We open up and press down right into the white zone. There's your first 2 points out of the Russell. I don't actively trade the Russell right now. I need to. I'm missing a lot of money, even though I'm charting it every day for my members. I'm missing it. Push into the white zone. That's worth 2 points. Randy pointed out in the room in real time. It's like, Simon, we're coming right to the first white zone on the push-up today. He shorted it exactly this level right here. He got his 2 points, and his trailer was worth from 1563, 1564, all the way down to almost 1559. That is 5 points at $50 a point, $250 a contract. Randy, you've done a great job 2 days in a row. My hat's off to you. You're trading great for the year. I just wanted to put a shout out to you. I don't know who else is trading the Russell in the room, but the white zones have been on fire in there, and I would encourage you to continue executing at a high level. So to wrap things up, we had a great day. Don't get bearish in the hole. I expect multiple V shapes like this year. Being bearish or thinking we're going lower after we've already gapped down is a huge mistake. Okay, it will get you trapped and it will get you punished. Okay, all day long. Number 2, look for the opportunities on the dips to push back up. Try to find ways to press your longs. I did a poor job of that today. Outside of NQ in the morning, I did get a 20-pointer on one of the NQs on my extension. And stops are part of the business. Make sure you're so steeped in your process that if you have a stop, it doesn't throw your whole day and you start trading poorly. I know that falls under the purview of a lot of traders where the stop throws them off their process and it's the beginning of a bad day. Instead, it turned out to be just a bad day, not the worst day on the face of the earth for me. It was just a bad trade, and it wasn't even a poorly executed trade. It was a properly executed trade that I just didn't get. I just didn't get a profit on. Right? Market doesn't give me money every time. It'd be nice if it did, but it doesn't. Anyways, my name is Simon. I'm a Trade and Perform Coaching. If you'd like to join us in the room for 5 days as a guest, email me at tradenperform. You can see more of our videos on toughtrader.com, TOUGHTRADER.com. I coach people both one-on-one in improving their execution and becoming professional traders, ending the boom bust cycle. And in the room, my passion and my desires to help people become consistently good at execution. That's what I work at, right? Can't promise profitable trades. You can get people to execute properly. The odds of them becoming profitable, consistent traders go up parabolically in terms of odds of them being able to succeed in this business. It's a tough business. A lot of people fail. Take your time. Make sure you have your process down. Wash, rinse, repeat once you have your process down. Thank you all for joining me, and have a wonderful, wonderful night. I'll see everyone in the morning. Good night, guys.